Hello everyone, it's been a while since I did a video and you can see my area is kind of hectic here. So today's video is about making body cream. So I do have body cream in my line, and it did take a while for me to figure out what's the best consistency I wanted it at and the ingredients I wanted to add. For those who would have bought my first body cream, it wasn't watery, but it wasn't as thick as it is now. So there's a couple factors that went into that, and I'll just break down some of the ingredients or some of the things you will need to make your own body cream. When you make body cream, there's probably like 4 to 5 ingredients that you will need. You will need some sort of liquid, so that liquid could be water. You make sure that it is distilled water. You can also use aloe vera juice, or you can use hydrosols. So I have a few hydrosols. This is just a couple of the hydrosols I have in my collection, but you have stuff like chamomile floral water hydrosol, or eucalyptus floral water. There's others like lavender. You have say peppermint. There's a couple others. Next, you will need some sort of humectant, and humectant is something that helps to draw moisture to your skin. So for now, we'll keep it as basic as we can. There is vegetable glycerin. Again, this is a vegan product, so you don't have to worry. For those who are vegan, you can use this, or you can use just regular old honey. So with the honey, you can use it as the same percentage that you will use your glycerin. So after your humectant, you will need an emulsifier. So emulsifier is something that will help bring your waters and your oils together when it is mixed, because we all know oil and water don't mix. So you have a couple options. You have emulsifying wax. So emulsifying wax is a mixture of, and I'll bring the big bag over because I just take it out and put it in there. There's a mixture of cetyl alcohol and polysorbate 60. I get mine from Voyager, and then with that I just take out as much as I need and I put it inside that airtight container. Sorry for the noise. Then you have others like Retamol's SCG. This is glycerol stearate, cetyl alcohol, and sodium stearyl lactate. Then this is, well, a lot of people just call it PEG 100 stearate and glycerol stearate. That's the INC or INCI number for it. INCI name, sorry, for it. And then, but with Windy Point, where I get mine, is called Simusol 165 self emulsifier. This is a great emulsifier if you're going to be extending your business and making emulsified body butters, but we'll talk about that on another video. You have Olevium 1000. So this INCI name is cetyl oleviate and sorbitan oleviate. So this is also a good emulsifier as well. I find that these two in face products really work great together, but again, that's another video. So a lot of people will just stop there at that emulsifier, and we're going to keep it simple today, but I'm going to also let you know about cold emulsifiers. So with cold emulsifiers, your emulsifier, as I said, will help mix your oils and waters, and it can also thicken your formula. With a cold emulsifier, there are different ones. So this is cetyl alcohol. So as I mentioned before, we do have cetyl alcohol in the emulsifier that I will be using. So you can go ahead and say If your initial or your primary emulsifier does not have a cetyl alcohol, you can add cetyl alcohol. Like, say for instance, I can add cetyl alcohol with my Simula 165 and make it not only conditioning on the skin, a bit smoother and thicker as well. Then we have Glycerol Stearate SE. This is the one I'm actually using as my co-emulsifier in my body creams at the moment. And besides this, there's also cetyl alcohol, but I ran out of that one, so that's okay. But that's also a good one to use if you want to just use the emulsifying wax NF as your primary emulsifier. Just keep in mind, everything that you're using, you are creating a formula for. And when you create that formula, everything has a usage rate. So just make sure that you are checking your usage rate that you have to use. Like this, for instance, say is self-emulsifying, as it contains a small amount of 3 to 6% of potassium stearate, and it goes on to list what it does have in. But when I'm using this, I only use it like at 2% in my main formula. So you need to make sure that you are using it according to your manufacturing details. In addition, the next thing you would need is some sort of oil or butter, or both if you want to use it like that. So here I have a couple oils that you can use. I don't use all of these oils, but these are oils you can use. So there's soybean oil, there's meadowfoam seed oil, which is a really great feel on your skin. Grapeseed oil, I use this also in my body butters because it is a lightweight oil and it does feel nice on your skin, and it doesn't have any strong smells or anything like that. Apricot kernel oil is really good. Skin, body, hair is an all-around lightweight oil. Then there is jojoba oil. So jojoba oil as well is really great on your skin, another lightweight oil. It actually has the same feel as your skin, so when you put it on, it is lightweight and it absorbs in your skin a lot. Sunflower oil is a big ball, but sunflower oil is a really great oil to use, as well as safflower oil. So those are kind of like your basic oils. Now, because you're using oils, you will need something to combat the rancidity from the product, from the oil when it is in the formula. And with that, you can use vitamin E. So I used to buy them in small balls, but now that I'm doing more formulating and selling more products, I just go ahead and I buy this in this container. I get this from New Directions Aromatics, along with majority of my oils and butters I get from New Directions Aromatics. So you can always check out their website. I will put it in the description box below, but that helps to combat the rancidity of the product. It's not a preservative, so don't think because you're adding this is going to preserve your product. It won't. It's just there to help with the oils. Now, butters you can use mango butter. This is a light butter. So if you're looking for something maybe light, or maybe to use later on, say on the face when you're formulating, this will be a good oil because it's not as greasy as, say, shea butter, and it's light enough to help with not making your face feel greasy. We have cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is a very good butter. This is the one I actually use in my body creams. So you have, for most products, you might have it in just its regular form, and then you have it as deodorized. Deodorized just means that you don't get the smell of the product, especially if you know you're going to be using fragrance oils. Cocoa butter gives a very strong scent, so if you know you're going to be adding that, you will still smell the chocolatey like smell of the cocoa butter, so just be careful with that. If you don't want to smell it, that is. If you're fine, that's okay. Then there's shea butter. I do have other butters like cocoa butter and a couple others that I have here, but I don't put those in the body cream. So with that being said, I just want to share one more things. So today, I'm not making this for sale products. My products are already I already stocked on my products, so that's fine. But this is just for video purposes. Now, other things I will share with you is adding preservatives to your formula. If you're keeping this for yourself, it's fine. Just keep in mind that it might not last that long, and you might have to put it in the fridge. But if you want to add a preservative, you can add Liquid Germal Plus. Now, this is a broad spectrum preservative, so it will be fine. The pH range, like as per Wendy Point's information here, their usage rate is 0.1 to 0.5%. So make sure when you're doing your formula calculation that you're keeping that in mind. Effective over a broad pH range from 3 to 8 for the pH. Then it has to be added at a certain stage. So obviously when you mix your oils and waters together, the formula will be hot, and that is what I will show you later. But this is said to be added at 50 degrees Celsius or below during the cooling stage. So I will show you the different stages as well, so that you know what you're looking for, right? So this is Liquid Germal Plus. Then we have Phenolnet. Now it says all a natural preservative. Now a lot of people shy away from it because it's said to having parabens. Now this is just the end of what I have here. I will be just fully switching over to Liquid Germal Plus because I do use this for my creams, but I do use this for anything that I'm going to use, like in bath products, right? So I interchange them, but this just has a little bit more left in it, and then from there I'll only be using Liquid Germal Plus. So the usage rate they said for this is 0.1 to 0.3, 0.3 to 0.5 it looks like, and then this is added at 30 degrees Celsius, so I will only add this at 30 degrees. Now other things you can add, and I'll show you one because I'll be doing 2 formulas today, but other things you can add to help boost your creams or lotions or however, and cream and lotions are roughly the same. It's only the amount of, say, water or emulsifying wax you will be adding. So say for instance, for me, if I'm making body cream, obviously I want it thicker, so I will lower the percentage of the water and increase the percentage of the emulsifying wax, right? If you want it to be thinner, you will add more water and less emulsifying wax, or you can keep the emulsifying wax the same, but you will have to increase the water to make it a bit runnier, right? So there are things you can add. Now I don't add this into my formulations. This was something I bought and wanted to try it. So silk powder. The only reason why I don't use it as well is because I'm trying to have most of my products be vegan products. I think there's only probably 1 or 2 products that aren't fully vegan, and that is the oatmeal milk and honey, because I do use honey. I do have an option to say that if that's something you don't want in your product, that you can always put it in the description of the purchase, so that you so that you can let me know that you don't want the honey in there. But silk powder obviously is made from silk, so is from the silkworm. So I add this in some of the stuff I make for myself, just to see how it makes a difference in the product. As you can see, I still have a lot left because I generally don't use it a lot. Vitamin B powder, or DL panthenol, is great to use to help with conditioning, and also for the humectant value that it gives. It does make a smoother product, and it does help to draw water into the skin. As it said, I got this from Making Cosmetics, because this was the first one I had bought. Now the rest I get them from Wendy Point, but I still have a lot in here. So this is said to add to the water phase of the formula. Usually for the final concentration is used within the 0.5 to 5%, and it's the applications are like lotions, creams, shampoos, conditioners, body washes, makeup, and so on. Next thing is colloidal oats. So colloidal oats is basically your oats, but they are finely grounded, so it's like a very fine powder, and that I will show you later. So you can sprinkle into the hot or cold water to mix. The usage or typical usage rate is between 5 to 30%. Applications are again creams, lotions, bath treatments, so shower gel, shampoos, pet care products, and protective creams. So like I would have advised before, colloidal oats, they are another way as well to draw moisture to the skin. Now we have allantoin powder. So I've only used this in a couple test batches of face face cream as well as face wash for myself, and to me it feels nice, or it does help at least with the skin, and to help to draw a moisture and help cell turnover. So cell turnover is great for your skin. I mean, people kind of do that by when they scrub their skin or however, but sometimes you don't always get to scrub your face or your skin. This does help with the cell turnover and help with the growth and the rejuvenation of your skin in general. So this is a good thing to add to your formulas, especially if you're going to be making face creams or face washes or anything like that in the future. The usage rate for this is 0.1% to 2%. Now that we've had kind of like a brief rundown of the things you might need, so again, we need a butter or oil. We need we need like a liquid, so it could be water. Make sure it's distilled water. If you're making it for yourself, you can boil the water first and then use that. Aloe vera juice, you can use it as well. We need a humectant, so that would be like honey or glycerin. We need a wax, so emulsifying wax, which is a complete emulsifier. You can use that alone, or you can use it with a co-emulsifier. Then you need a preservative. So, and preservative, again, you don't have to if you're making it for yourself at home, but just keep in mind you could get mold in that, and you don't know like when the mold is there unless you have it out and you see the mold growing. And your optionals are your co-emulsifier, vitamin E oil. I would more put that in you need that, but again, it's up to you if you are not making this for sale and you're making it for yourself. And then fragrance oil is optional as well, and your other additives that you want to add. So with that being said, we'll start off with making just the basic body cream first, and then I will show you one where I use a co-emulsifier as well as other additives in the cream. So we'll be right back. So I also forgot to share with you, so these are the fragrance oils. They come in different sizes. So if you're just starting out, I would probably suggest using smaller amounts. So you can get 30 ml at a lot of places. So this is from Windy Point. Honestly, I get most of my my fragrance oils from Windy Point, but there are some that I found at other places that I love. So also use Voyager and also New Directions Aromatics. So start off with a 30 ml. You're not going to need more than this, honestly. In your formula, you probably only need about 1%. Now, if you want it really strong, I would suggest probably only going to 1.5%. Remember that you might cream your face with this, and you don't want to have that on your face like that, especially if you don't know if you might be allergic to the fragrance or the oils that's in it. Remember, these are synthetic. These are not like essential oils, right? You could use essential oils as well. Like I have like lavender, I do have chamomile. Those are my favorite, so I keep those most of the time. Say vanilla or benzoin like as an alternative if you don't really want the very strong vanilla scent. And a couple others that I do have. So there's like tea tree oil, there is bergamot, and a couple others as well. So keep that in mind when you are going to use your fragrances or when you're first starting. For example, if you're first starting and you're making a small batch, I would probably go for maybe 4.5 grams, right? 128, 4.5 ounces, which is about 128 grams. So if you are doing this and you are going to say buy your water or however, for the formula that I'm going to use today, you're going to need about say 80 to 100 grams of water, right? You're going to need about, for your glycerin, you're going to need about say 3 to 4 grams of say honey or glycerin. So you don't need a lot. So I would probably recommend going for the least amount that you can purchase on these websites or even on Amazon. Honestly, most of the stuff you can get on Amazon, and start there, because if you don't like what you just made, then at least you're not at a loss that you just made a huge batch of cream or body lotion and now it's not working. So just keep that in mind when you do make your purchases. Okay, so to start, I have my ingredients here, and to count there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have my water, I have my water, I have my humectant, which I'm using for now will be glycerin. Then I have my butter, which I'm using unrefined cocoa butter. I have my sunflower oil. I have my emulsifying wax. I have my preservative. I will use a fragrance today because I actually wanted to try this to see how it smells. So we'll go with that. And then my vitamin E. So I'm using pink sugar from New Directions Aromatics. I'm going to swap out the butter only because, as I mentioned earlier, with the butter, I might not be able to smell it with the unrefined cocoa butter, so I'm going to use deodorized. So since we're making a very small batch, we're only making 128 grams, which is 4.5 ounces, I will just use my beakers. So another thing to remember when you are using your beakers, just make sure that the smaller one you have the water in. Why's my finger so greasy? Oh, maybe touching everything. But you use the smaller one for your water and the larger one for the oils, because you're going to pour the water into the oils when you're going to blend it later. So when you're using anything, and this is just for, again, this is not for sale, so that's fine, but when you're about to make anything and this is to sell, please make sure you sanitize everything. Right now my table has been wiped off and it is clean, but your apparatuses that you're going to use, make sure that you have soaked them in a 5% bleach water solution so that you kill any bacteria or anything before using it. So that would include your beakers, that will also include your immersion blender stick, because this is what I'm going to use to blend everything together. Also anything that you're going to use to say stir, so that will include your spatulas. Let me just grab one here. So since it's a small batch, I actually don't need a lot, but I'm just going to get one spatula. So your spatula and anything else that you're going to need in terms of pouring or taking anything out. So I'm fine with these because they actually do have a dropper, so I'm fine here. So my scale is here. These you can get on Amazon as well, or you can buy a simple scale, which is just like a kitchen scale. Now the reason why I have this one is it actually goes to 0.01 grams, and sometimes when you are making certain things, you might need, say, 0.02 of a gram or something like that. So keep that in mind when you start building and formulating more and you're looking to do your sales. Then you will need something that is a little bit more accurate. But for now, if you're just playing around at home and you just want to try to do your own formulating, then for sure a normal kitchen scale should work. So I'm going to start with measuring out my oil. So I'll just put on some gloves first, although I'm just making this for me. The butters and the oils are very oily, so I'll start with my butters. Okay, so according to my formulation, I will need about 8.96 grams of cocoa butter. So this is what the unrefined cocoa butter from New Directions Aromatics looks like. They come in like these flakes, which works well because then if like I need a little extra, I can just take a little dust and put in there. But I'm going to start with 8.96, so it shouldn't be a lot. See, even that piece is over, so I'll just start by pouring in a little bit. I guess this will be the boring part, because yeah. Right, went over by a tad bit, but that's okay. Alright, and next I will need to get my oil. So for the oil, which is the majority, I'm going to need 14.08 grams. Now I also grab a pipette when I'm using this, only because you can go over. So I try to get it as close as possible and then I go from there. So I don't know if you can see properly. Okay, so we need again 14 points. See, even with that I still went over by a couple, but it's still within 14 meters, so I'm okay. Alright, so to this I will also be adding my emulsifying wax, so that it will break down with the oils. It is much harder to try to scrape it out with the waters, I find, so with the liquid, so I will be adding it here. So for my emulsifying wax, I need 8.96. And these I got on Amazon along with, they came with the stickers, and I just bought these extra so that I can pour them up. So 8. And while I then measure the liquids, I will cover this with foil. So as you can see, this is how it looks. And I will cover that with foil. Just set that aside. Now I'll work on my water phase. So with the water phase, just keep in mind that you should take your measurement after you poured everything in, because the water could evaporate even though you have your foil on. So we'll start by taking our distilled water, and I need 87.04. For the rest, I'll just try to put it in the pipette because I really don't want to be over here. And I am a little bit, oh, that's fine. What I will also do is I will take a smaller, so what I'll also do is take a smaller container later, and I will also add some water to that, because if anything evaporates, then at least I can replenish it with warm distilled water. You don't really want to add something cool after, because you can actually solidify the emulsifying wax when you've already melted it with something cool, from experience. So now we're going to add our humectant, which would be the glycerin, and I need 3.84 grams of this. Just be careful with this, because I find it is kind of heavy, and a little bit goes a long way. 3.84. See? I'll leave that in there. I mean, you can actually suck it out because it's so heavy. You can use a pipette and you can suck it out. I've done it before, but as I said, I'm not making this for resale. I'm making this for myself, so it's okay. Alright, so 1.9260. So note that weight. I will write that down. So it should be that when everything has melted and this has come to the same temperature. So we'll be back after everything is melted. Okay, so as you can see, everything is melted, and from here you have to kind of work very quickly. Right? We want to check the water. So actually we lost maybe say 0.16 grams. So from here, this is where you would actually just put it back to the 192.60. But for me, it's fine. Just for video purposes is okay. I'm not going to actually replenish that. But if it was like drastically different, then yes, I will try to, because then it will be under 192 and we will be losing a lot of water. So from here, you go ahead and add the water to the oil. So I'll show you here what it looks like as soon as you do it. You see the change that happens? Look at that. So take my hand blender and just be careful because it can splatter up, and you will pulse it a couple times just so you mix the oils and water together so the emulsifying wax can work. See, so be careful. Okay, and from here I will just leave it for a bit. Now as it cools, what's going to happen is the emulsifying wax will start working, and you will see that the cream will start to get thicker and thicker. Okay. So I'll just leave that for a bit. Okay, so that is 15 minutes I left it for because I went and did something. But look at the consistency. It's already thick, right? I'm just going to give it one last blend. It is still warm, but I'm going to give it one last blend, and then I'm going to take its temperature. So, like a baby. So I'll just set this aside for now, and we will add our final ingredients. So as I mentioned, I'll take the temperature because I will be adding a preservative. Yes, it's just for me, but I guess habit, and I don't like placing it in the fridge. So I will take the temperature. Where's my thermometer? Oh. Okay, so it still has a little ways to go to cool down for me to add the phenol knit, so that's fine. I will add everything else. But look how nice this looks. And just keep in mind, like I mentioned, that if you wanted this to be a lotion, you won't add as much of the emulsifying wax, so you can add more water. I add my water for this at 68% and my emulsifier at 7%. So you can add, say, maybe 70% water, and maybe try putting your emulsifying wax down to maybe 6 or 5%. Yeah, and that should work. You can, and again, you can always increase the water a little bit more, or whatever your liquid will be. So I'm going to go ahead and I will add my vitamin E. So I need 1.28. I don't know if you can hear the rain falling, but we're having a thunderstorm at this moment. I'm a little over. That's fine. More for my body. And I will add I'll grab another pipette because this is the one I use for water, and I don't want to add any for that, but I think I should be fine because this has I know some things are just so slow. And I need for this 1.92. Smells so nice. Oh, it's called sweet pink sugar. I call it pink sugar, so that's fine. And I'll go ahead and stir these in because I don't need to blend this anymore, honestly, because of because it was very thick when we started, and it will only thicken up. Remember, this is not the consistency we have to